not mine. This is the 3 I have. Alright, let's see what we got here.
Alright, so you just Maywalled inside the hotel, if I recall correctly. From Harvington's perspective, I remember seeing this yesterday. So why do you not want to Maywall the hotel?
Why do you not want to Maywall in the hotel?
Yeah.
There's no follow-up in there.
Yep. And you're not cutting anybody, and there's 2 doors, and they could just back out, right? Like, it doesn't do anything. Also, let's talk about how your team is positioning as a whole. Your Ryan just charged. You definitely don't want to charge there. You don't want to charge because you just inted pretty much past both your healers into the enemy, essentially backline. So how should you guys have rotated as a team here? When you knew that they were going to the hotel, but they left people in main.
We should have had the healers rotate to the back right by telephone box.
Okay.
Our DPS watch the people at main as well as, or keep an eye sight on the main while we still fight the front line on the right.
I think healers should have went spawn side, and like we should have, as tanks, like walked up on these people with our May.
Okay, healers don't go spawn side. That one's immediately wrong because the sight lines are back.
Can't they just like walk on the last 2 people beside statue?
Because okay, but you don't have a Lucio, so they walk at the same speed as you.
So would we want to back up into the lobby behind the telephone box?
I need Art to be standing up here. Why does Art need to be up here?
High ground.
And he's able to pressure both directions, right?
Yeah.
So the people in main, like the enemy team is immediately at a disadvantage because of what?
High ground.
Okay.
They're also split.
Chokes.
They don't have. They also
Their
don't
main
have.
heal.
They have no healing, right? They have a Lucio. Why are you guys losing this fight? Because your heals are also in a weird spot, right? You suddenly made this shitty for both you guys. So you put Art on the high ground right here, right?
Right.
He's able to pressure main. He gets to duel their Hanzo, pretty much, right? And everything's fine, right? And if he's up there, then your healers are okay to rotate to phone booth, right? But if he's not on the high ground pressuring that Hanzo, it is not okay, right?
Question. Since I'm playing Zenyatta, should I get up on the high ground as well?
No. Do you want to get shot in the face by a Widow when the spawn door's open? Right? No good, right? So the reason why you don't want to rotate spawn side is because anyone on the left is not getting healing, your tanks have to play literally in the doorway, and you have literally no control, right? And, like, you get boxed out of the point really easily, right? Playing like that. So you want to immediately always control high ground if you can help it, right? So you know they don't have a Widowmaker, so you want Art here. You want your Mei looking for either a wall off on their Hanzo and Ana, or a wall off on somebody out here. Like, for example, if you cut them from going back into the hotel once they come out, right, then they're all stuck here. Their Ana and their Hanzo are over there, but instead use your Maywall like this. This line that I'm tracing with my camera is where your Maywall was. Your Maywall should be here, right? Because when their entire team is out, they can't back into the hotel. If they want to back in, they either break the wall, or they have to move up and come in here, or wait for the wall duration, right? Either way, they're stuck. Right? Their Ana doesn't have LOS in the first place, but it gets even worse the other way, right? So you want to look for ways to tactically cut their team, right? So Harvington and Ana, move.
Yeah, my thought process was like I didn't want them to rotate into the hotel in the first place, but I could see it's just a value standpoint, and like especially they just wait the cooldown and then they could push through hotel again, and I don't have the wall to split them, right?
Exactly.
Can you show me that spawn side again for the healers? Like if they had rotated that way, and our Zarya Rhine did push up to like where their enemy Rhine is, you're saying we wouldn't have sight lines there that the healers can peek?
It's not good because the fight will move, right? Like the moment your tanks start losing, right? they have to either back into here, which is giving up the entire point, or they have to back out of your sight line, right? It's just
I
very
thought
poor.
like compositionally, like I don't see how we would lose that with a May, like pushing into them where they're at.
Well,
I'm so far back. That's it. That's the issue.
Oh, well, that's true.
it's hard for you to get an anti-nade back.
But like
And over here you
also,
can get zoned by Junkrat pretty easily as well. Your healers.
This is true.
and then like
Junkrat
they could
stands in
get.
that door.
Couldn't they also just get a pick?
For the healers to be split up if you're playing in that choke there, as Anazan. You have to move with your team and move accordingly to the enemy Reinhardt. If they're pushing hotel, you just go phone booth or like push left. If you come to the other side, you just go move to the right side again.
Okay.
You just
So
go
you're just like
opposite
counter
sides of the
rotating
Reinhardts.
whatever their Ryan's
Yeah.
doing.
Mhm.
Right.
You never wanna single yourself out.
So how easy is it for them to all go out this door instead? And if your healers decide to pick that way, just cut the healing altogether. Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm that Ryan, even if I W key like 5 steps forward, right? Like, immediately my heals are cut on this Ryan, right?
Right.
So you don't want to do that. So, like, we talked about ideal positioning, how to use your Mei well, where you should be positioning your DPS. Tank should be, like, also on the corner. So if you were the defending tanks and you did the rotations accordingly, you would be here, right? And your Zarya would be here, so she's in a position to pressure both the Hanzo and the front line, depending on what she needs, right? We talked about the off-angling of the Zarya earlier. So let's watch what happens to you guys. Sharana got put into a really weird spot. Your Zen's also in a weird spot. Their Ryan is now behind you. Like, because you guys don't have any control, right? They came at you from like all these different angles. You want to take as much control as possible through sight lines and stuff like that, right? Because if we watch it in slow motion, so they're rotating through the hotel, and the Hanzo and the Ana are still towards like main, right? And Art isn't in a position to contest them safely. He's trying to like find an angle, but then your Mei gets pinned, and now you have a Ryan in your back line, right? Art is not in a position to punish this charging Ryan at all. If he had been on the high ground, he could have stormed out that Ryan in the face, right? The whole way. And something could have happened. Your Ana could have slept it if the Ana was here, even if that Mei got pinned, right? Don't get pinned as Mei, by the way. Should never happen. But their Ana is now behind your Ryan shield, and she has a free sleep on your Ryan and a free anti-nade, right? That's not good. That happens right there. The free sleep, the free anti, right? Really, really poor map control on the first point, so you guys lose, right? So this is like a team positioning thing. You need to rotate accordingly and see
So
opportunity.
if they go hotel like that, should I hug that wall next to the point like kind of like I was and
Where the
stay
spray
there and
is.
have my healers rotate behind me?
Yeah.
Is that what should have happened there? Okay.
And your Zarya would be against the doorway beside the spray, like between the two lamps, right? Your Hanzo high ground, Ana, and Zen below here. So I would probably say your Zen would be here, so you could DPS.
So the
both
back line
angles,
needs to be counter
and your-
rotating as well.
Yeah.
So like whatever they do, you rotate away from it.
We go the opposite.
Right.
So you're not positioning yourself for success, is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yep.
Alright, I'd probably just get out, dude. Like, you don't want the bad spawn. I don't know if you do get the bad spawn, but you don't want it, right? You get the good spawn, it's fine. But yeah, just make sure you're not fighting for a point that's already lost. Because if you... Okay, let's talk about King's Row specifically. Why do you not want to fight for the point if it's already lost?
Second spawn is super far away.
Okay, that's one
Also,
reason.
the second hold point is this archway right here, and if we get long spawn, we can't hold it. And so if we
Exactly.
lose that second hold, we get pushed almost all the way back to checkpoint.
So the other
Instead of one
point that
team
you
fight, it's
hold...
two.
Yeah. So you gotta cut your losses, right? And that's on, I don't know, your whole team to decide, right? When the fight's won and lost. But don't stagger, right? Because if you don't hold in the archway, you're gonna hold in here, and there's no room for error. If you hold here, you get wiped, you lose, right? If
Yep.
you hold up, you definitely have another chance to fight here and back there potentially, depending on how it goes, right? So they have a Junkrat and a Hanzo. So what should you guys be doing? Maintaining control of high ground. So Art is maintaining good control up here, right? Harvington is spamming the shields as well, and you guys as a comp want to pressure their run with Discord Orb, but just spam him to death and wall him, right?
Right.
But you guys are 6 people, right? So shouldn't you not be holding and choke?
I think we call for the push up here.
Yeah, but you were already 6 people on a decent spawn, and you knew you were going to get good spawn, right? So you should already be here. Because now the Zarya has taken space, and the Junkrat is set up in the window, right?
Right.
What you want is to already have control. So, like, your Rhine should be here. See what happens. So this Junkrat spam is, like, borderline oppressive. I actually think it kills Harvington one time as well. It kills somebody.
It kills me.
Right, because you guys didn't take control of it early enough. The cart pretty much just free moves, right? And you lose
Yep.
a lot of space because of it, right? So you gotta be, like, on the
Oh,
ball
Harv.
about this. So if you had been holding up, Art isn't holding here, he's holding here, right? Because how oppressive is it to stand here as Hanzo and shoot down at the enemy Rhine and whoever's behind the cart, right? Like,
Heavily.
it is it's really, really hard for the enemy Hanzo to duel you if you're up here, right? Because he either has to come up to the window and have no healing, right? Or he has to play, like, the bottom right-hand corner from your perspective, right? And you have the high ground, you can jiggle around, right? And, obviously his Rhine's not going to shield for him. And you also negate the Junkrat in the window, because Junkrat v Hanzo from this range, like this, who do you think will win? I personally put my money on the Hanzo, right? Probably.
Yeah, the Junkrat would have to get lucky on his peaks, essentially.
Yeah. So, positioning for success, right? So you get Art up here, you maintain control of the high ground. Everyone always forgets this exists. Like, you know, get him up here, great. You get the Maywall on the choke, great. Right now you have control of all the high ground, and they have nothing, right? So your Rhine is now cleaving the choke, your May's looking for a wall, even if the wall, like, just cuts the backside of the cart, right? You can pin, like, push the Rhine, even if you walled, like, right here, right?
Okay.
So that would be how I would be playing it, and that also gives space for Harvington to play here and here, so he can off angle on Zen a little bit without there being too much pressure on him from this Junkrat spam that, I don't know, hits him in the face quite frequently. Asian gets to play up and play for freezes, and your Zarya is able to maintain good charge because if Junkrat balls come out of the window, it's hard to get charge off of it, right? Because it's like a terrible angle. But when you're playing close, the Junkrat spam is coming through the choke. It's easy for your Rhine to cleave on the corner without using his shield, right? And it's easy for your Zarya to get charge because it's a good position to get charged through a small funnel, right? So that positioning is beneficial to everyone on your team. So I'm not going to expect you guys to be able to identify, like, this kind of positioning live in the moment because it's hard, right? But I think that the more VOD reviews you guys do, the more easily you'll be able to identify how to position yourselves, right? Like, individually. I'm
We'll
not
get
going to
it
say,
eventually.
like, Tab, tell everyone where to stand, right? As the main tank. No, I'm just going to say, Tab, make sure you know you have to pressure that choke as a team, so tell your team go up there, because pathing is on you, right? Where to fight is on you, right?
Right.
So, like, everyone will get their positioning down over time, but, like, through VOD reviews, both private and team, right? So let's talk about why you guys are backing up. On payload, what do you want to do?
Stall it out.
How do you do that?
Die on
Dying
payload.
cart.
Exactly. What is your team doing, though? Not dying on the cart, right?
Right.
Who's the only person on your team who I think it's acceptable to get away?
On our
Zarya?
Zarya.
Yeah.
Because of charge.
Yeah, staggering your Ana, terrible, right? If anything, I would just go die on the cart. Like, there's really no point in walking away. You're not trying to protect your stats. You're in a sprint, right? Doesn't matter, right? And if you go in the cart, maybe you anti the entire enemy team, get a little bit all charged, great. Zarya, charge, yeah, you want that out there, right? Don't know why they don't move the cart, but that's fine. They stop the cart for you, but that doesn't happen normally.
Right.
So I like how the enemy team takes space like that. I think that you guys should be taking space like that too. Maybe not that much space. Their Rhine is kind of Pepega right there. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at that. So coming out of spawn right away, Art, you want to take the high ground. Good. So you want to get up here, you duel him, great. You kill him, fantastic. Okay, so they're pushed up really, really far, right? They, in fact, don't have any Ana healing, right? But you're not in a super duper rush, I would say, to touch cart. Like, you are, but you're not to the point where you guys like have to force that shatter to happen or lose your Rhine right there. I don't know if it was a matter of not focusing heals on your Rhine, but definitely not a fight you should be losing when you guys traded Hanzo for Junkrat, right? And they have no Ana heals, right? So definitely play a little bit better there in terms of like focusing heals on your Rhine shielding more, right? Because they don't have that much damage. They have like one Hanzo. They're missing like half their DPS lineup, so you shouldn't be dying there. I don't know what happened.
I fed. That's what happened.
Shield up next time. Alright, so coming into this point, you want to maintain control up top again. Art was doing a pretty good job of that when you guys came back out. Okay, let's talk about how to duel a Junkrat on the high ground real quick as Hanzo. Okay, so you don't want to go up there because you don't know if you're going to climb up into a trap, or a mine to the face, or a Junkrat ball. So, take the other high ground, and then duel him from there, right? Because even if you force him to stand behind the box, you've negated, like, his value entirely, right?
As DPS, you always have to keep in mind what you excel at. Hanzo is medium long range, Chunk is like right in your face damage. So you never want to duel him like in his face, because then you're playing in his advantage.
Exactly. So definitely come up here next time. And you're also in a better position to kill Tyre from up here, so yeah. That would have helped a little bit. Unfortunate, Harvington dies to the Tyre. Can't help that. I'm not gonna say, you know, kill the Tyre or anything. Try, but, you know, whatever. So, let's talk about this mail, right? Did you mail against your own mail wall? I think you did. Right, so the only reason you ever mailed against your own mail wall, because it cuts the range on how far you can throw your mail, is against a diva to stop the defense matrix. They don't have a diva, so that's a misplay.
Gotcha.
Right? So you just count bubbles, and that's all you really need. The Rhine is like way past you, so definitely would not mail up there. If anything, I would keep the wall in the cart like that, and then just go freeze the Rhine, because he's kind of cut. Art's in a position to flank their Alma too, right here. I don't really know how she has that much space. Harvington, do you come out of spawn on the left side?
Yes.
Come out of spawn on the right side.
Okay.
Only Ana comes out on the left side, or contest people come out on the left side, right? Like, if you're coming out to contest, I don't care what door you go out of, right? But specifically for Zen, you come out on the right door because you can DPS from there on the longer angle, right? Ana comes out on the left door because she doesn't want to get shot from the long angle, right?
All right.
Okay.
Because now, like, if you had been on the right side, you would have been in a position to orb Art easily, so that he could duel the Ana and help him duel the Ana and the Rhine, right? So this is just like positional misplays in terms of spawn doors. Art gets slept, unlucky. This is a good grab. So in the grab, you want to slap a Discord orb on somebody and just headshot them as best you can. I'd probably pick a squishy because it's speed dropped right now. And then call target focus on that. Alright, once you wake up, what do you need to do? Once you dragoned.
He's not here if you're waiting for a response.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Art needs to go up to the high ground, right? And then Asian needs to come out as a stall character because he is 13% alt, right? So I don't think that you need to come out on May again because why?
Don't have the ult. And we need to be able to just contest cart, and I won't be able to get out fast enough if we get wiped.
It's more like at this point the card is here. Like, are you gonna get valuable walls at this point? It's pretty open, right?
You need to turn the fight, right? I think that's what it is. You need to play for picks, I think, right now. That's what it is.
I would probably go for like
I mean, you could wall off their healers, the tanks and healers, if they're not pushed up.
maybe, but it's not really like super valuable in the sense that you can't use your wall to get a pick, and you're probably not going to be able to freeze the Ryan Zarya because it's Ryan Zarya. It's sort of like Ryan Diva. So like overall, I would probably go for a switch on this point to something that takes high ground as well. So even like a double sniper would be okay because they have really like only a Hanzo to fight you guys, right? And like they're nice long sight lines. Like you could play a Widow back here and a Hanzo on the high ground, or vice versa, right? And play around Grab Dragon and stuff like that. That's fine. Or I would actually play a Kree and brawl a little bit more down here. Right, so you play the Hanzo up top and a Kree on the ground here. Sorry, my dog's being.
What about a Doomfist? Would that be fun as well or not?
You don't want to play a Doom against their convoy.
No Junkrat and Hanzo.
Junkrat and Hanzo.
And a Zarya bubble, right?
Yeah.
So not super value. And the only healer you could go for is Yana, but she'll be playing so far back on this point that like it's situational to the map geography or geometry. Sorry. And you also just want to play with your team against that kind of comp. You don't want to go to the
That's
back
good that you
line.
told me that, because my first instinct would just literally be good Doomfist here. Like literally, like, I wouldn't even think about like Yana would be all the way in the back. It's a good thing you told me that right now.
Good Doomfist for shields and a quick pick.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it'd be. We need to turn the fight. That's why. Where that falls.
So you have a problem here in the sense, like as a team, you have a problem with this Junkrat who is on your heads. So you want your Hanzo over here again. You want your Ana probably in the room back there. You want your Zen. Honestly, I think you play your Ana and your Zen in here. Because, like, so long as you're careful about not getting picked, right? You're in a decent position as well.
Yep.
I think that for the Ana, you can play further back, but with Zen, you want to play somewhere you can actually, like, do damage. Because right now, like, all you have in terms of angles is here and here, right? If you were back here, you'd be providing pressure from a different angle and able to discord their Ryan every time he drops shield, which might not be the case if you're back there, right? So definitely your Ana, probably further back, but like your Zen should be here. Your Hanzo should be on top, looking down, providing a different angle and dueling the Junkrat, right? And if you had a Kree, he'd be able to brawl beside your Reinhardt, right? Or if you have a Kree, you could even play him back here to pressure further back. Like, it doesn't really matter, but the idea I'm trying to instill is, like, take multiple angles to pressure their team. Because right now, they only have one person on another angle pressuring your team, and yet he's actually kind of wiping you guys sometimes from, like, just going into your backline and doing dumb shit like this. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. Like, this is one dude playing very poorly on a Junkrat, off-angling you guys, and he just pretty much solo carried the team fight, right? Now imagine you put your Hanzo on the high ground trying to make plays, you put your Kree and your Zen over here, like, pressuring the front line, right? Like, immediately you're negating this Junkrat's value in the sense that he can't peek, he can't force you guys out of this position either, right? Like, it's a lot better because now you have a Kree and a Zen pressuring their Rhine, like all the way down this area, and you punish his positioning. So you know how we talked about playing on corners tab as Rhine? Well, right now he's in the open space, right? So if you position your damage dealers behind you and you're pressuring this Rhine in the open space, how fast is his shield going to melt? Like almost instantly, but he can't go anywhere, right? Because
He doesn't have
he's
cover to
stuck.
retreat behind quick, yeah.
right? So like through good positioning, you guys 100% wiped their team easily, right? But they outpositioned you because they had God Rat on high ground uncontested. Right? Questions at all, or we can move to the next tab?
How do I get good?
Watch the
Uh,
VODs. Practice.
VOD reviews, my friend. VOD reviews.
A VOD review a week, maybe twice a week, will make you a better player, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, all that's going through my mind is like, if this is like how the games went for all of them, I can see why that team DM'd Harv in the end. And, like, we're not worth it, because like, that's
Yeah,
like
it's gonna like make them start having bad habits because they're just rolling us so easy.
for sure. Yeah, it's like they're trying to learn as well. They're trying to get better as a team, and we're not putting them up to the pressure of like what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah. That was a great shadow though, Tab. That was impressive. Not gonna lie, that was a good shatter.
So I think we talked about this rotate in VODs with healers, right?
Wow.
So you guys sent half your team through the building to go top, right? The way you guys should play this is you have a Hanzo. Where's your Hanzo?
Inside.
Right,
What's
so
up?
your Hanzo climbs up onto the balcony and he checks this room right away, right?
Yep.
He sees people there, he jumps up, right?
Sorry.
You know, half the enemy team is now behind you. You make a choice. Do you flush them out? Maybe. Or do you run onto the point and kill them? Maybe. You just make a choice.
I feel like you commit to either one of them and just
Yeah.
kill 3.
Yeah, it's just make a choice and go, right? But right now, you didn't make a choice. You have half a choice going, right? Like half your team is committing here and half your team is committing here. And this is the worst thing you can do because suddenly your 6v3 in either direction became a like 3v3 ish because your May is pretty far away. I don't know, right? And your Ana is not anywhere near you guys. At this point, the enemy's kind of trolling you guys, but like, you understand what I mean, right? Like that was poor play overall by like not playing together.
Yeah.
So at this point, you want to be speeding onto the enemy team because they're down there. Ryan, you take the point here. You want to wall the archway, which is good to stop the recontest. Is Lucio still in the back line? Someone help your Zarya, please. This hog comes out and kills your Lucio. Unlucky. We talked about that in VODs. It's fine.
Smoker's on point.
Keep using your wall when it comes back up to wall the archway again to stop them from getting away. So pushing up is good because it takes away 1.5, right? Like this arch, right? So now you own the high ground and you want to keep playing up. How far up do you play?
I usually I usually I usually push all the way up until I see them grouped, and then I start backing to second mid corner, I guess, the middle corner, like the one behind us right there. But since Cart was kind of there, like I feel like this is kind of where I want to take the fight on this corner.
Okay, so Art owns this high ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very valuable space. So you don't want to be here because this is where they want to hold, right? Like we talked about, if you lose the archway, where you're gonna end up holding next is right here, right? You don't want that because the reason they hold there is because it's favorable in terms of like sightlines for the healers and shit like that, right? What you want to do is force them into a linear fight, right? Because linear fights are narrow passageways like this, for example, where it's easily May-wallable, right? This is a non-linear fight in the sense that their entire team is not stacked behind the Rhine shield. They have multiple angles with which they can gain value, right? what are benefits to having linear fights versus like off-angled fights and stuff?
The enemy's gonna be
Like
in one
off
direction.
like off
Mhm.
angles you have a place to retreat. Linear fights you don't really have a place to retreat, so
What's the benefits when it comes to ults?
they don't have anywhere to retreat when you use your ult.
Right, so any shatter, any grab, any dragon by itself will wipe them, right? So you want to force them into these little funnels, right? Because from like a
Right.
tactical standpoint, that's obviously a lot better, right? So you owned this space up to this point, but you gave it up when they pushed up, which I don't really agree with, right? Because if you had held them right here, right, the cart is about to come around the corner as well, right? Like if you need to back, you just speed backwards. But you want to hold them up as far as possible because you have mailed and you have shatter and you have dragon and grab, right? But you gave all this up without making them fight for the space, right? Like they should have to fight for every inch of space that they take from you at that point forward, right? To give your cart more time to move forward. Even if you wipe right here, right? You still gain more value than giving them all this free space, right? Because you would have moved the cart more for free while they were still moving up, right? So you want art on this high ground or this high ground, depending on where you're holding. Like here is good when you're holding here, but like when you're further up, you obviously want him on the high ground, facing down like and across to zone their healers, right? So like if you can get your Hanzo like right here, like how oppressive is that? Like their Rhine cannot swing, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Because someone's gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have your Hanzo right here and you are playing on this corner right here, even if you don't have the Ana healing because your Ana's moving cart, what do you have? You have ults in your ultimate bank, right? So you don't have grab yet, but you do have shatter. So as they're walking up, can you look for a shatter? Yes. Can you look for a mail? Even better. So your plan should be, right, to mail them the moment they hit here, right? Because this is a choke, right? Like if you mailed when they hit this block right here, like how much damage could you be doing with your Hanzo on the high ground? Like a
All
lot,
of it. Yeah.
right? Like 100%, you can look for a team right there. And even if their Rhine turns around and charges out, what does Tap have?
Shatter.
He's
Shatter.
just going to shatter, right? Like you force them into a no-win scenario, right? So long as you are pressuring their bubbles out as they walk up, because you have Mei and you're spamming, right? And you have your Rhine Fire Strike and your Hanzo shooting the front line as they're walking up all the way across this open stretch where they have no cover, right? Because they're not holding shield when they're walking up; they're like speeding, right? You're going to either make a pick or force the bubbles. They hit here, you drop your mailty, right? And then your Hanzo just one shots everything. They don't even have beat drop, right? And you get a free shatter off if you really needed to help you wipe, right? And then you pretty much cap. This obviously is not what happens though. Because you gave up all that space. Now who owns that high ground?
Junkrat.
They're Junkrat again.
Yeah, and that's not good, right? Because he is now zoning you from coming around that corner because your round is going to turn the corner into a face full of Junkrat mines, right?
Right.
And your Blizzard is now where? Do you think the Blizzard here gets as much value as a Blizzard there? Probably not, unless they're all shattered on the floor, right? But you definitely could have done that earlier because I think you guys still wipe here
Yep.
because you
Fix
didn't
that.
stage your positioning well. You guys actually wipe them. But yeah, do it here instead, okay? And make sure that you are always playing up aggressively. This isn't the map where they all come back and recontest you, is it?
It is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so push up again. You have grab, like literally just grab them off the point right here. Right? And then nano your Zarya and then just melt them. Nano your Zarya, dude.
Oh no, the grav right at the contest.
Feels bad,
So
dude.
you just grab them on the cart, now you can't move the cart. You have a problem now, right? You grab them off the point as they're running up. You catch the Rhine while he's charging too in their team, and then you cap and you laugh at them from the cart. Right? Even if you can't kill them because they're all sitting behind Rhine shield grabbed off the cart where the Zarya is, right? It's still big brain, right?
Yeah. I think my intention was to, and then I just got pushed and didn't do it fast enough.
I don't remember. Do you guys get full held on this point?
We get full held on third point, not right now.
Oh. So when you guys come back in, you turret. Where's their run? Okay, their run's here. He full instant to your team. This is a good wall. Junkrat Tire. Unlucky, kills Harrington, but that's actually best case scenario, right? Only kills one person instead of the whole grav. She kills Zarya, which is fine. Your Zarya somehow on the high ground fighting Junkrat. Great. Gotta focus that junk. Good. I think you guys actually have a problem here. You get run around by their soldier and then what?
Yeah.
Is their Ryan comes back? Yeah. So some target focus problems right there. But big sad. Right? So you made the picks, but once you start losing members, I'm pretty sure what happened is your comms died. I'm not certain, but I think that's what happened. Because it didn't look like you guys were on the same target at all on the cart.
I was calming targets the whole time.
Yeah, the problem is that a couple of different people will call a target, and so nobody will shoot the same thing.
Right, so Tab is the only one that calls targets. If Tab's dead, then it's on Doge. And if they're both dead, we'll figure it out, right? So Junkrat in the back line is just juggling your Ana. Sucks. Gotta take control of all the off angles. Really, like, nothing to say about that. You know, at that point, they're in your spawn. I think one of you guys try to back cap at some point. Yeah, don't do that. Okay?
Okay.
Because it's a scrim. You want to win by winning, right? Like, win on purpose, because that's the only time it means anything, you know? Not by luck.
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing really to be learned. Alright, another map?
I think that's the only one that we had playing as a team.
Alright.
Well, with Tab as tank. The other ones from Thursday all consist of Blood on tank. We can pull Tuesday stuff if we want to. That was with somebody who wasn't Blood.
Alright,
Asta.
Asta.
who's got a Tuesday stream blood?
I have all of them. I can post them up here. Give me just one moment. Here we go. Did I? I think I posted these somewhere earlier, didn't I?
Yeah, in
I
the other Discord
messaged
server, probably?
I messaged these to Laura.
Oh, let's see.
The only ones I have are the ones when you made me scream for the other team. The 3 last ones. This is it.
Do you think it helped you?
Yeah, Laura, you have all of them from me
There we
on
go.
Tuesday.
Yep. There's everything.
Alright, take your map pick, guys. Tuesday scrims.
I don't have any of Tuesdays left.
Oh no, they're up here. They're in the general.
Numbani
would say-
or Temple.
I would say Numbani or Temple.
Yeah, for sure. Nimbani or Temple.
I want to see Numbani then, because I watched Temple and it was something.
So the major takeaway from Kingstar is create space, positioning, and proactive outing. Even if your graph isn't like killing anyone, if you're capping point, that's fine.
And maintaining control of off angles and high ground, because you can see how often it fucks you as a team.
Yep.
And also let them fight for space. Don't give it away for free.
Oh god.
Alright. The reason why I want to watch this is because your dive sucks. Okay. ACAM Blade, was it?
Yeah, this one was the AKM blade.
Dive tank that doesn't call the engage.
Yep.
I think that tilts for no reason.
Dive tank that doesn't call any target focusing.
This
I
is
remember
just
this.
our attack here. The other Numbani one is our defense.
Okay. Let's just watch the attack real quick. I'm pretty sure there's nothing to see, but... Oh, okay, let's review real quick. Why do we send Pharmacy to Ghost?
Just scout.
Scouting.
Right, and it's important to send Pharmacy to Ghost for one other reason why.
Create an off angle.
Exactly,
That's
so you're
fine.
shooting 100 damage rockets at an Ana's face from across the map. She has to look that way and also look at what's diving here, right?
Yep.
Like, that's pressure, right?
Yeah.
It also like forces you guys to play slow and acknowledge where everyone's positioned, because I feel like if you guys don't off angle or see where you're going, you're just going to jump all willy nilly, which is no good, right?
No bueno.
So I'm pretty sure what happened here is half you guys went on Brig and half you guys went on Ana, which switched your DPS like incredibly, because remember, dive is bursting down one target, not two, right? There's no singular comp that is focused around bursting down one target, be it brawl, ghosts, or anything else that says let's kill two things at one time, right? It's not how it works, right? So make sure you figure out who it is. The target call, it should not be Brigana. It should be Ana or Brig, right? Pick one. Ideally, you probably burst down the Ana, but if you can't do that, Brig is a solid choice. So here you have a problem because your pharmacy is not in a position to spam rockets at that corner because they're under a bridge, right? Your diva is on Brig, the monkey is on the Brig, and your Genji is on Ana. So both your DPS are not in position to do damage the same thing that both your tanks are doing, right? So that's not good. Your Ana is not being pressured by a Doomfist. I actually want to know what happens there. Okay, just hit your seat next time. So your diva just got demeched because the fight took too long, and diva is a super PD character, so the fight has to go quickly. Right, their Brig just out-sustained both your tanks because she will actually out-heal that. The Ana lived, and your Genji died because he was behind three people DPSing the wrong person. It's not even like he was in the wrong either, it was just like the target focus wasn't there.
Just in terms of priority in the setup, if we were to call a dive on the supports, would we want to try to focus the Ana first so that the Brig can't sustain?
You could do either. Like, honestly, it doesn't make a difference so long as you throw the bubble up around the Brig, you can kill the Brig first, right?
Okay.
Because she doesn't have any, like, real mobility to get away from you, so effectively they're the same person to dive, right? As long as you cut healing. But obviously, Ana's easier to cut healing on because, like, the Brig has to come into the bubble to proc Inspire on you guys. So it doesn't really matter to me. I would dive either from, like, a main tank perspective. So let's talk about different places you can dive from and where you don't want to dive from. So at one point on this map, if I recall correctly, you guys actually tried to take top, which makes no sense because what does this help you do? Absolutely nothing, right? But you guys come up here and then you guys get doom-fisted into a wall by their doom on the opposite high ground. Like, two of you, if I recall correctly. So you don't want to take this way.
Doesn't add any value to our dive.
Right, so where are the two places you could dive from?
Main. And under.
So which scenarios would you want to dive from each of them from?
Let's see. I am not sure for the answer to that question.
Okay, so if you go main, it obviously telegraphs your dive, and it's a pretty long jump, in a sense, right? Because you're trying to curve your dive around a corner if you want to try and get to this point, right? So it's not good to dive this position, right? But if you're trying to dive the back position, it's okay, right? So, like, I don't mind if you go main. That's perfectly fine, right? If you're trying to dive someone back there. But overall, like, diving from here is also okay because you can send your monkey here, and you can send your diva here, or vice versa, right? To
Right.
get to this position up here or that position up there. Because that position up there is not diveable from main. You have to
Right.
come wide around the corner to dive there. Or you have to
Okay.
straight
Yeah.
up, right? So
Just
there
try to
is like
too much airtime so you can get picked all the way down.
there's like different positions that the enemy can hold. Because sometimes you do see an Ana right here instead of right there, right? Like, it depends. Where you're scouting from will tell you, like, where the person is, right? And from there, you need to position accordingly. So, for example, a Genji dash from main to there is too long. He has to walk like 5 steps and then dash, right? So that's not really like good value, right? But if he comes here and dashes, that's fine, right? Like, it depends where you're trying to go. So your DPS might stage somewhere differently from the tanks, so long as they end up in the same spot, right? Same thing with your monkey and diva. They don't have to jump from the same spot. They just need to be jumping a target together, right? So you could even send your diva here and your monkey main. Doesn't matter, right?
All right, so I have a question. For
Yes.
fight planning, what I would want to call is I want to call like group on bus, pharmacy to scout. After we know where our dive target is, we'll say Ana in this case.
Mhm.
Then I call main or under diving Ana.
Okay.
And then
Ana
after that,
where?
our dive tank picks up pathing and target calls once we start.
Pretty much. But let's talk about the benefits of diving from separate locations versus together.
Okay.
Why is it sometimes beneficial to dive from separate locations?
You split up their focus. They can't look at every single target.
They won't quite be sure where we're coming from.
So if you sent your monkey main and your diva here, and your diva jumps first, she can DM the Ana sleep, even if she's trying to sleep the monkey, because diva dies first, right? DMs the
Right.
Ana. Monkey then jumps, right? Monkey is no longer in danger of getting hit by sleep because the diva ate it. And if she's still like throwing the nade, she's only gonna hit one tank and not the other. Right?
Okay.
And what's the other benefit of landing second?
If you don't have the aggro.
Okay.
Cooldowns are used.
So diva lands and she lands right here. Where can monkey land? On the other side of her.
So you can pinch the target so
You
they
can
can't
body
go either
block.
way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's like a
Cuts
lot
off
more helpful, right?
healing and a lot of stuff to her.
So if you're a monkey and diva diving from main, and you try and land on her, where are you both gonna land?
Monkey's gonna try to land behind her, and then Diva in front of her,
But
or
realistically
vice
speaking, what's
versa.
gonna happen?
She's gonna be able to rotate into that room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna walk right into the room and that's it, right? So like realistically speaking, every time you guys both jump from main, you both end up on this side of Ana, and that's a problem. But that's because of the nature of your movement abilities, right?
Your trajectory just lands you going that direction.
Mm-hmm. And so she gets away because like Ana wants a roof over her head, so immediately you want to dive in a way to prevent this from happening, right? So you send your diva underneath, and she flies straight at the corner where the Ana's trying to go to try and body block her, right? While eating the cooldowns, and then the monkey jumps from main, right? Like,
Okay.
it's a lot better, you know?
Yep.
And going with the diva will be beneficial for your Genji because the diva is eating like all the aggro on the way in, right? So he can walk these 5 steps to the point and actually hit her with the dash, you know?
Yeah.
Because right now he's using his dash to get there and he loses like the actual damage on her.
Right.
But that like amount of burst damage on her is what helps you guys secure the kill, so you don't want to do that. Even if you guys like get rolled, there's still a lot to be learned about why you're getting rolled, right?
Yep.
So you want to like play it a little bit slower, let your fire apply more pressure, right? I think the Ana just actually used her nade. So what happened to you guys in main right here?
We got too far forward and they dived us.
We just in general took too long as well.
Okay. He got distracted by that monkey. Like his damage is kind of negligible in a way. And you guys are trying to dive their monkey, essentially. But it doesn't really pan out for you, obviously. because you don't want their tanks to distract you. Right? So what is their objective, like as a team?
Stall time.
Mm-hmm. Heal for their Ana, which is what the brig is there for. And then what does their dive, like part of their team, want to do?
Hit our Ana.
Right, but your Ana is
Eliminate their
completely
squishies, yeah.
your Ana is completely safe, right?
Right.
So all you guys really want to do is focus on like staging. Don't worry about your Ana, right? Because your Ana, you can come back to her for heals, right? She doesn't have to put herself in like a bad position at all. Like if I'm the Ana for you guys, I would say I'd probably just throw myself into the mega room and hide. You know, if anyone wants to come after me, I mean, it's an easy sleep in the doorway, right? I'm sitting on top of a mega health pack. Like, I'm pretty happy, pretty unkillable. I still have my anti-nade for myself, right? I'm just chilling until you guys do something, right? So you don't have to be, like, so concerned with, like, what's going on right there. You can just get ready, stage a dive, go, right?
Scouting first though with the pharmacy, then go.
But you guys, like, put yourself in a position to dive without even, you know, like, scouting or being ready. And then I
Right.
think this fight you guys decide to take top. I'm not sure.
I think we're just flaying about trying for something that would work.
So here's where the Doomfist kind of fucks you guys.
Yep.
So look, you sent your Pharah through the top room, which obviously no good, right? And you played to their strengths, which is literally punching you into a wall. But no one on your team benefits from that in any way. Okay, I just skipped 20 seconds and it flew me back to spawn. Why does it do this to me? Okay, it doesn't matter. There's not a lot to be learned from the rest of this map anyway. Because you guys just Flood Fury played, you Nano Mercy, and things happen.
Just make sure when you're playing dive, you have a checklist of things to do. Like scouting, check. Dive target, check. Ever ready, check. Go.
Right.
And like, don't skip steps.
Every time you skip a step, you lose. And even if you get the first thing killed on the enemy team, you can't skip steps. You have to restart the whole process all over again, right?
Right.
So I would say scouts. Then say which location. Then ask DPS ready. Like the tank should be like DPS ready. DPS say yes, you go. Or like you count down 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. And we want our target caller, the main tank, to be counting before we to start the dive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about your comp. What does your comp do?
Our comp, let's see. I'm not sure. I don't have the answer to this question.
Maintain heavy control of high ground.
Yep.
Right,
Soldier.
high ground control.
Soldier
Okay.
Mercy.
So Nambani first point is a series of long chokes, right? So you get a lot of value out of the Farah because she can spam anywhere they want to walk through, or she can float, and Pharmacy are essentially untouchable to anything but a Widowmaker, right?
Right.
And they output massive amounts of damage. Now, Ball and Diva, they benefit a lot from owning the high ground in the sense that they can drop down without using any cooldowns. Ball can literally slam for free without using his grapple, which he can then use to get out, right?
Right, I remember we
And
talked about this falling onto targets for dive.
and your Ana benefits from the high ground because she basically can throw anti-nades down and heal with the long sight lines, right? So the way you want to stage it is your pharmacy just like floats over top of like top right probably because they can see coast, right? They
Right.
can see the top room. So that's the fire shop, coast, and top room. And your mercy just slingshots down. It drops straight down, looks in the room, comes back up. Up and down, up and down. You maintain control of half of the map just with 2 characters, right?
Yep.
And then your soldier over mid. adds pressure to their backline as they either dive or walk up, right? And if they come in any of the other directions, the soldier can also apply pressure, right? And
Okay.
your Ana is safe by your soldier. Everyone is happy. Your tanks are on the high ground, ready to drop wherever they happen to go, right?
Okay.
And that's the way this works. But you have to use your pharmacy to scout, right? Anyone with the ability to constantly be on high ground, for example, Lucio, Farah, Mercy, right? Like, they are the scouters in a sense.
Yeah.
So, what you guys are doing wrong right now, can you guys tell me?
We're not scouting.
We don't have any scouts out.
You don't know what's going on half the map, right? You
Yeah.
already gave them all the space just by the sheer virtue of not knowing what's going on,
Yeah.
right?
All we can do is see main right now, and that not very well.
Mm-hmm.
In bottom right. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone comes up after your Ana, the soldier's got it because he's going to win the 1v1
Yeah.
easily, right? So they came top.
Mhm.
If you had your Farah over here spamming through top, would you have probably got a kill? Or at least pressured a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like, you would do so much right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have at least forced the supports to back off or die.
Because it's the Brig and an Ana. There's no way for them to, like, fight your pharmacy. And
The
no one
D.Va
on the
would've
enemy
tried to-
team.
The
Yeah.
D.Va would have tried to peel me off immediately. Right there. And I could just move away and just get up. Mm-hmm.
You don't even need to get out. Like, the D.Va has no ability to solo kill you both so long as you're well played, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can literally just stand here and pressure their heals the whole time, just floating, like, right here. Right?
Yeah.
Because that Ana and Break cannot exist on this high ground so long as you are maintaining control with your rocket, like, zoning, right?
Right.
And, like, so long as you don't, like, let yourself get hacked or anything, you're totally okay. You know?
Yeah.
And, like, of course, your Ana from over there can, like, apply heals to you guys. But right now, if you're here, you're able to pressure their healers immediately, right? And obviously the Tracer and the Sombra are not going to be able to take this flank behind easily either, because they're going to be distracted by trying to shoot you out of the air. But the Tracer Sombra, so you're totally fine, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, your Ball and your D.Va are going to be looking to slam where you're throwing rockets through, right? Because if you had thrown rockets at these two and the Ball slammed and the D.Va just flew in and just, like, hit them with her body, I don't even care if she wasn't even shooting, right? Like, these two get deleted,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And of course, the soldier on the opposite high ground throws a helix that way. Like, there's a lot of different angles that you could be taking them at. But right now, you made it into a linear fight because all of you are on this side, all of them are on that side, right? So, no good. Non-linear fights for you guys and linear fights for them. Because if you play it the way I said, it becomes a linear fight in the sense that, like, they're all stuck right here,
Yeah.
right? They are faced towards multiple angles at a time. No way they win, right?
Yeah, there's Nancy
Yep.
now. Well,
So
on
is
right
that
there,
kind of
right
like
side.
the idea of setting up like kill boxes, like kind of like the reason like Hanamura choke is so annoying because it's one angle that you have to rotate through, and they can be at any angle just shooting that single point.
Exactly, right? So you're always applying pressure from every angle you possibly physically can. You will win every single time, right? Like, even if you are mechanically less skilled, like if you played a team like 1000 SR above your elo, you could probably still kill them, you know? Because if enough of you guys are, like, on off angles, you can focus down one person easily, right?
Gotcha.
Like, at that point, you'll probably kill someone by accident, you know? Like,
Just because we have fire going in.
like, fire rockets going in that way, a random helix rocket from that way, Ana throws like a nade that way, you know? Like, something will happen, right? But right now, you're not positioning yourself for anything to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see how you guys are, like, pretty much backed into a corner, right? Like, they took all the space, and you're backed into a corner, and everyone's getting, like, heavy pressured, right? But their Ana is just, you know, existing. It's fine. She's so low, but tanks, you're not really in a position to dive, so unlucky. But it was already lost because of the way you positioned. Before the fight even started, you already lost, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that, like, the enemy team beats you intentionally. You guys are beating yourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because it's not like they position for off angles or anything like that. You guys just gave them the off angles. And that's all it really was. Alright, so let's talk about Streets phase. So you guys are still on dive for Streets phase, which is fine because there's a lot of high ground. Where do you want to be fighting?
Pushed up.
Over the bus.
I think that over the bus is probably the first place you'd fight, yeah? So you'd want your soldier on the high ground, you'd want your Pharah spamming the long angles because they don't have anything to contest your Pharah on the long angles, right? Because like a diva is your only real counter to the long angles, right?
Right.
And she is only a good counter at short range in the sense that her DM is like 10 meters or something. I don't know, it's not that long, right?
Yeah.
So if your Pharah was here spamming the cart from the long angles and your soldier is here shooting the cart and your tanks are just like, rolling around creating chaos over here, you'd be good, right? So where would your Ana want to be?
Probably high ground in the window.
I don't think so. I'd probably put her here.
With the roof over her head so that she can get access to Mini.
And because she's on the low ground, it's very hard for them to get into a position to dive her, right?
Right.
They have to go really far to contest her.
So there's like really no way for her to like be
Which is-
contested by their tanks at least. And in terms of the DPS, your Pharah is literally floating outside, right above her head, right? It's like an oppressive amount of damage, and the Mercy is able to just go and heal her, right? So like even if the Ana was playing right here, right, and the Pharah Mercy is above her head, the Mercy is immediately able to pocket her if anything happens, right?
Right.
So that would be positioning yourself for success, right? And the entire time the tanks are like disrupting, the Ana is able to output free healing towards them, right? And if anything like really happens, the Ana is able to back up, the Pharah is able to disengage, right? The soldier able to run away, right? And the Ball and the Diva obviously are able to either die on cart or get out, right? Diva probably die on cart, but like Ball should be able to get out, right?
Yeah.
Although when they play a Sombra, I'd probably say switch off the Ball and play a Monkey. You get more value that way, right?
Yeah, Asta was not having it on Monkey.
Are we saying, like,
In general though, but yeah,
it
we
was-
want Monkey Diva
yeah.
with Ana S heals.
Yeah.
So what you'd want to do with a Nano is play Nano Visor, right?
Yeah.
Or Nano Monkey when that's not the case. Sometimes you could even Nano Barrage, but like anything you need to do, you'd be able to charge pretty quickly because you have two really feedy tanks, right?
Yeah.
So if you choose to give up the street phase, now you guys can position your team accordingly. Tell me how you position every member of your team. If you give up streets phase and you're onto this phase right before the cart caps.
Tanks on high ground.
We want everybody on the high ground, right?
Yeah, Farah and Mercy on the right above the advertisement
yeah.
pillar. The Ana in the doorway on the left, or on the right there to where screen is now, like the pointy doorway. And your soldier on the where the Mercy is currently standing. It's my best guess.
Anyone else have any changes to that?
It would depend on where we want to engage. We might want the pharmacy somewhere else on a better angle. But if we're hitting them just before they come over, I would say I think it's probably
Farah
fine.
wants to play around the edge of the building.
Yeah.
We might put Far all
Yeah,
the way
above the
bottom left hand
advertisement.
corner of the screen.
I would
That's
be
the
on the
building.
right hand of the right building.
Yeah, above the advertisement.
Yeah, above where it says whatever the hell that says actually.
Axiom.
Axiom.
Well, yeah, to the right of Axiom.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Okay.
about like the pillar advertisement.
To be able to peek in and out.
Yeah.
If the cart was right here, right where the other car is.
Yeah.
Your Ana in the room below. She has a health
Right.
pack.
Health pack.
Really good angle, right? She's not cut by the payload or anything. Your tanks on the high ground right above, ready to drop at a moment's notice, right? She's able to see them both. The enemy team doesn't have range damage, cannot get to her. Right? Your pharmacy, I would say probably floating like maybe here, right? Because you can fire rockets into their backline, or here, right?
Mhm.
Your soldier on the high ground here is fine, right? Because if he's here at a moment's notice, he can drop to peel for the Ana. Because not only can he heal her and himself, but he is able to like deal with the flankers, right?
Yeah.
See, I misunderstood the question. I thought you meant when the cart was right here at this corner that's nearest to us now.
Okay, so if it was here, I would play your Ana with the archway over her head, right? Because she can play like the longest possible angle, right? Like she can play as far back as this if she wants to, because realistically speaking, that composition is not one you anti-nade, right?
Yeah.
Like there's really no point. Your nade is used for yourself at that point. So your Ana is playing the long angle, so she's not too worried about like flankers. Your soldier can play a little bit further up, either on the high ground, which I would not recommend actually because he could be dope, right? I'd say he'd probably play like on the ground in front of the Ana. Kind of like the Ana's the goal. He's the keeper, I guess, right? So he'd be here. The pharmacy at this point, if the cart is here, would probably float over here. I can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Taking
pretty
it
good.
to avoid poke damage.
And the tank's on the high ground. But you want to play like the really, really long angles with your Ana and your soldier, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Soldier is a good peel for the Ana in the sense that he can heal the chip damage when the Mercy's not in a position to on your Ana, and she needs help. And he also does like an easy amount of peeling to help your Ana survive, right?
I think this entire game when we made the call for soldier, I was just trying position around tab to peel for him.
Yeah, so like I see you doing that here, but like you guys can position better, is what I'm saying, right? Like, because right now your positioning leaves something to be desired in the sense that like you're still easy to dive, you're not really like protecting yourself in any way, right? Position for success. Actually, did not know that was a thing.
I know, right? You're not the only one. Oh, the brute was one.
So I'm not saying that like
Ooh.
the far positioning is good or bad or anything, but like in general, you guys probably should not die to Diva Bomb, right? Because like if you're the pharmacy and you were playing the places we were talking about, right? It's pretty easy for you to just concussive rocket backwards, and like unless she commits the whole Diva Bomb to land like right here, you're not gonna die, right?
Yeah.
Diana has a roof over her head, she's not gonna die, right? Soldier is playing close to a door, for example. In every scenario, he will never die, right? Like all these positions that we're talking about, you guys playing, you can see that they all have one thing in common: they have cover.
Yeah.
Actually, can you back it up? I think I actually ran into the bomb by thinking I was safe.
Oh, his Asian. Oh my god, you ran in the doorway.
Yeah, I was watching that in
Unlucky dude.
a video they were talking about Jae Hong, and like they did 10 hours of analyzing his play, and like every position he's in, he can duck behind cover in less than a second.
Yeah.
And these things are good habits, right? This goes for literally every single hero in the game. Like these are good habits you should be building. So I'm not just saying like Ana, it's your fault for not being in a building. It's everyone, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like in that situation, we all died to bomb. Like I kind of like pushed up because our tanks were like pushing up so far. Should I just like say fuck our tanks and stay like back?
Well, you should have been in the room, right?
If I remember right, when you're playing dive and on Ana, the dive tanks come to Ana for healing, right?
Mm-hmm. You don't go to them; they come to you.
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys come out with a bunch of ultis, and I remember your fight plan being throw all your ults at the enemy team and hope something happens, right? Which is kind of bad considering you have 4 ultimates, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the call was to use all your ults, then we switch to meta, I think.
but you gotta have a plan
We
for how you're
can
using them, because look what happens.
Exactly.
Brilliant minds at the point. You're fire barrage, but I don't know if you guys DM'd this barrage or not. You're Diva C-Mech, so that's probably what happened. Kind of like floating around, trying to make something happen. and then you lose with 4 ultimates, which honestly is kind of depressing because you have 4, right?
Yeah.
So you make a switch to full draw third point. You keep the diva, which is good because diva is the only one in the comp that's actually going to stay anyway, right? Why is brawl good for third point?
Because it's got some really short corners.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just slowing down
There's
for
not a
free.
lot of high ground for.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high ground, very short sight lines.
Yeah.
So taking this corner is good. So when you're on this corner, how do you want to stage? We're talking meta comp now instead of brawl. It's a little bit different, but puzzle it up.
Under the overhang. Let's see here. We still have Ana. Ana can play back.
Far back hallway.
Yeah, so Ana can be like on those steps up
'Cause
by
she
that
can
doorway
rotate out.
over there, so that she can duck into the doorway for the mini. Tank should be just under the overhang. Brig should be on the Reinhardt. Maze with our Reinhardt. I'm not sure where the McCree. Should the McCree be in that door on the left? From our point of view, with that mini there, is that where McCree should be?
I think he can be.
I would say yeah.
Okay. So
Either
McCree in that
that-
door then.
Either in the doorway or on the corner. They're effectively almost the same. So on the corner, you're pressuring the Rhine like that. In the doorway, you gotta be careful because it can be quite punishing.
It's a
if
good
your
angle,
tanks
but
give up the space.
yeah, it's a good angle. But if our tanks get pushed back, you're cut off.
You just have to come
You have
back
to react.
a long
You
way.
have to react quickly. It's like you have to react right in the moment. Like can't stick around too long.
So in terms of mispositioning right now, you're not ready to fight that corner because your brig is not in a position, your Mei is not close enough for a wall, and your Kree is far back and your Ana's not there, right? So
Right.
if anything, it might be worthwhile to give them a little bit more space so you get like a full-on team fight. But I think they're a little bit slow to push. They don't really take too much space from you. So your Ana positioning here gets automatically cut by the Mei wall because you're not here. If you had been here, you would have been able to heal, right? This is why like positioning yourself in certain ways is a little bit better because you can't get cut, right? Your sightlines are just better.
Right.
There's no physical way for this Mei wall to be large enough to cut your healing, right? And obviously your Kree on this angle is still like okay because you didn't have to give up the space, so that's why I said this angle is also okay.
Okay.
Your Ryan probably doesn't want to end up in that room, but he didn't have a real choice, I guess. Your Maywall, though. Remember, we talked about the Maywalls, yeah. Your Maywall's got a lot better after last time when you subbed for that team, so it's good.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad you guys killed that May. Asta's not doing a good job with his Ana sightlines there by going behind heart, so your Ana's forced to reposition. Are you okay, puppy?
Didn't sound like it.
I know,
He's
right?
standing on my bed, like, watching over my shoulder.
He's judging our poor positioning.
He's yelling at the tank like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I don't know about you guys, but my dog's GM.
I can
Jeez.
believe it.
I mean, we're not, so like we can't really argue with the dog.
I mean, I've been hard stuck flat for like almost 3 years, so there you go. There's that too.
Right, so this diva bomb that's about to land on your Ana's head, right? If you'd been over there, you know.
I don't know. I'm not the Ana. I'm the tank. What are you talking about?
The tank tilting at everything.
I
Okay,
mean, do
buddy.
you want to be Asta in this case? I'm not sure that's any better.
That's worse, dude. I think I'd rather just take the D-bomb to the face, dude.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Right, so
I thought I could
like,
rotate to the room in time, but yeah.
if the Kree was on this corner, he might have died with the diva bomb, but he probably
Yeah.
wouldn't because he could just roll left into your Ryan who turned and shield it, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're playing that far back, you are really susceptible to diva bombs, right? So you're not hugging cover in that case, right? Fake isn't really concerned about diva bombs. He has his own shield. Pichu can just wall it off. It's not his problem. He can go to block anything, right? So like certain characters' positionings are not as punishable as Ana, right? Your poor Reinhardt, but
Okay.
What?
Why did he try to pin him, Aviva Bomb? I was confused
Yeah.
about that.
Pin Diva Bomb, hell yeah.
I was like, I'm behind Ryan. I don't need to put my shield up. Oh,
I honestly didn't think he was gonna do that, or else I would have made one. That's why I didn't make, because like we were behind a Ryan.
That's what you do if you
But I
don't have
guess,
shatter. You
but I
pin
guess that,
the enemy
but I guess
Rhine.
that, but I guess that's, I guess
Well,
that's
the Ryan pinned your Ryan, who turned to try and shield Tab, right?
yeah.
Because he thought that Tab would run towards him, right? So you moved on to try and shield Diva Bomb, right?
Yeah.
His death perception sucks, but that's what it looks like it happened, right?
Yep.
So what do you do in scenarios where they try to Diva Bomb behind your Ryan and then CC the Ryan? What do you do?
You can wall him, you can sleep dart him, you could stun him with Brig. I mean, you could stop the CC
So what should happen
or
is
use
your Brig
cover.
should pin the Ryan, like counter pin the Ryan, essentially, by
Yeah.
stunning, right?
Okay.
And when Diva Bombs go off and you have Maywall, just Maywall it every time, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, it costs you nothing, you know?
Mhm.
At worst, you miss. Medium case scenario where, you know, things don't go as well as they could, right? You save, like, whoever's close to you, you save yourself, right? Or you save your Ryan's shield from, like, taking 2,000 damage from the Diva Bomb, right?
Yeah.
For the cost of your Maywall, which is a pretty good trade in my opinion, right? So, yeah, when the Ryan was here and he got pinned, I think Brig should try to go for a stun onto the Ryan, because it's very predictable it's going to happen, right? Because your
Right.
Ryan has to turn his shield, and you see the pin happening. He pinned from pretty far away too. You could have stunned, right? Or the Kree try to stun the enemy Ryan, right? Because really, like, as a Ryan, there's nothing you can do beyond move out of the way of the pin, right? But, like, you can't counterpin, otherwise you die, right?
Yeah.
So it's on you guys to help heal for your Ryan in that case. Sometimes, if you can't wall off the Diva Bomb, you can't block it, you can block it with Break Shield.
Yeah.
Or you can block in front of it as May.
Yeah,
And if
because
you do
May
it right-
casts a Blast Shadow with her Ice Block.
So there are different things you guys can do to stop that from happening. So you guys come out here from the same door. Why is that a bad thing?
Crossfire.
Easy to target focus.
Easy
I
to
mean, even
wall
if
off, like to
Easy
just
to
block
wall
in.
Yep.
yeah, even if you miss one, you're gonna hit somebody.
Yeah.
So you want to split up and go separate doors, right? You want your Ryan going out one door and your Ana going out the same door as your Ryan, right? Probably because you want to be able to down on him, right?
Right.
Or you want your Diva and your Brig going out the other door, right? Like you just want to split up your healers and split up your tanks and go out different doors. DPS, I really don't care. Pick your door and go, right? Depends on like the hero you're playing, right? So like, which way would you want your May going versus your Kree?
May
May
should
the
be with the
closer
Reinhardt.
door. Yeah, whatever
May
door's
should
closer to their
probably,
team.
yeah, whatever door is closer to a team, or alternatively, you want the one where you can. I'd probably go at the left door if I was May, so I could wall the backside easier, right? Because if you come out this way, your angle is not as good. Right. Pre, you probably want to go out where you can get an off angle. So wherever you think the Ryan shield's not going to be pointing, doesn't really matter too much, right? So when you come out, what do you want to do? You guys like wipe here with Diva Bomb, but what do you want to do? Off
We
angle,
want-
off angle, off angle. Because they're all
Yeah.
trying to push the payload at this point, so it's a linear fight, right? For
Right.
like their team, they're like in a straight line. So you want to take on as many off angles coming out as possible. But you can't do if you come out the same door, right?
Right. Okay.
So you obviously want to monopolize the back platform for Tab on Ana right here, because Tab is not main tanking in this scenario, but he is the Ana. Right, so you want to monopolize the back platform here, because if he's back here, he's like not being threatened by anything. They have a May and a Kree, it's not a big deal, right? But he
Right.
can face like his Ryan and he sees everybody, right? So you probably want your Kree somewhere here, rotating around here, you know, within reason where he's not being punished, right? But he's still able to see and be seen by the Ana, right?
Yep.
Your Mei and your Rhine are moving up on the payload right here. So your Kree is able to output damage into the side of the enemy Rhine's head, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be good. And your Brig is moving up to brawl with your Rhine. Right? Pretty straightforward. And you want to go out the right door as Reinhardt because
Corners.
yeah. Right. And because the Ana is here, what does she get to see?
Everything.
And she controls the side room because she can see it.
Yeah.
Right? So
She
even if you
controls
don't send
side
your
room and she
Kree
watches the edges.
to see it, right? Your Kree being over here, your Ana can still see it, right? Your Brig and your Rhine are also in a position to punish side room, right? Your Mei is here as well, so like your flanks are pretty safe because if someone comes far right, your Kree is able to see your Ana. That was the prerequisite for playing here, right? So he also sees coast, right?
Right.
So at no point he controls this area and he controls far side just by holding right here, right? So that is very powerful. And even if he wants
And
to
he has
contest
invincible
balcony,
shield wall.
yeah, and even if he wants to contest balcony, he can do it from here. So like his positioning is so valuable in the sense that like he controls all these lines of sight. And the diva being right here is able to peel for him at any given moment, right? Diana is able to see him, right? The Brig and the May are able to control this room right here and brawl with the Reinhardt. So like everyone is helping each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're covering each other's blind spots. You're playing as a team if you do that. But right now, what's going on?
We're in an ungainly mass with our Ana walled off.
Yeah, right. You're on as well. She doesn't see anything. You have no control of the left-hand side of the map, right? Luckily, they're also platinum, so they're not controlling that side of the map either, right? And your Kree is not in a position to get healed by your Ana, right? Even if he was to take a 1v1 over here, he would probably lose. Because he is not going to get any help, right?
Right.
So no one on your team is in a position to help anybody, right?
Look at that fat auntie going in. Hitting the wall. Heck.
So you're lucky, you diva bomb them, and their Ana is not, you know, taking the coaching course that says play with a roof over your head and playing in the back room at all. So, you know, she's a bad player too. So that's fine. She dies to diva bomb, right? So what you want to do to stagger Anas when you have a Brig on your team or a Kree or any type of CC is you just leave her and then you let her deal damage, pocket each other, right? And then when she's about to remac, you stun her. And then you leave her there some more. Right? And if you get bored enough, take her for a long ride on a Reinhardt pin, you know?
Yeah.
But just keep staggering her for as long as you can. So what's your problem with stun?
Let's see. Ana is not on the correct spot. Our diva is scouting, so that should be fine. And our Mei is not close enough to our Rhine. Although we don't have any scouting on the high ground. So should our diva be looking? So our diva should be on the high ground, so she can check that because she can get up there easy. And then our Rhine should be peeking main.
Okay, let's talk about this real fast, right? So your diva is scouting here. She sees absolutely nobody. What conclusion do you guys come to?
They quit the game.
They're on high ground.
They have to be on high ground then, or they're going mega. But that that requires them to go high ground first.
Mm-hmm. So even if they were crouch walking top, right? Like regardless, it doesn't mean anything, right? So you want to put your Ana right here, right between the fight, because you're trying to do the same kind of hold, right?
Yep.
And your Kree, where could you put your Kree?
High ground, so that he has the he can watch the angles.
You know you can get on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your Kree is standing right here, is this a good position?
Yeah, because he can see.
Right. Right, so he's in a position to contest anybody that comes out of the door on the balcony, right? And he can shoot anything. And if a diva bomb happens, he just rolls towards the Ana, you know? Like, he's fine, right? Your May, your Ryan, and your Brig, they're fine, you know? Like,
Yeah, they wouldn't be
all-
right
it's all
under
good.
there. And like somewhere else, we're fine.
If anything, like, yeah, you could play under there, or you could just back a little bit more and then just face the balcony, right? Because your Kree essentially is also on his own high ground, right? So you could just
Right.
like right here and face forward. Because like from the high ground themselves, their composition doesn't really do a lot, right? They want to take the balcony so that their McCree can hide in, right? So what you want to do is you just want to back to like right here, for example, right?
Right.
And then face the balcony. And if he, you know, decides to high noon, you just throw a Maywall up in his face, right? And if he gets boost on the Maywall, Doge only has to DM for a short like amount of time before, you know, he shoots. So you're fine, right? But you want to be like backing to face it, because if you are here, right, who is unable to peek for free? Your Ana,
Ana, yeah.
because now they're on the balcony looking at her, right?
Yep.
But is it okay for you guys to back and then stand here and face?
Yeah.
Because even at that point, right, you both have a
Right.
doorway at your back, right? You are both able to pressure each other, except they have a finite amount of space to stand on, right? They have this much space. You have this much space, right? So they now have to close the distance. You could actually Maywall to cut them to keep them on the balcony, right? Or your diva, who is still back here, we haven't talked about her yet, right? If she's here, she could take the off angle and actually push them off, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you just want to like back up a little bit, give them some space because they already took that space from you, and then just chill, right? Alternatively, you can back up even a little bit further, right, to here, so that you can play in this kind of cover and put your Kree above, like on here, to face like this, right? Put your Ana below, right? And then just sit right here and force them to walk on you. I actually prefer the second scenario, but I don't think that you guys are able to make that rotate fast enough because you're kind of still chilling under the balcony, right? Either
Right.
way, you have to rotate because they move their positioning, so you have to move yours too, right? So there's the high noon we talked about. The Maywall went up. It's good. And they didn't get value. Perfect. Big shatter. Big high noon. Good. So they misplayed what?
They
Mm,
scout.
They
They
didn't.
didn't scout.
They didn't scout us. They
And
knew
they
we
just
had a
immediately
May.
put High Noon up
Yeah, they knew we had a May, but didn't do anything to block the wall.
or wait for cooldowns.
Yeah.
And they also dropped. That was their problem. Right? If they had sat up there and poked you guys out, eventually they would have made a pick, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But if they sat up there and you were all positioned the way you were, your Ana was out of cover, like you guys had problems, right?
Right.
But because they dropped, they kind of fell into your trap. But like a smarter team definitely does not, right?
They would just stay up there and take advantage of our poor positioning.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys full hold?
I do think we actually hold him here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I think we lose it fairly late.
Probably.
No,
I think like
probably.
30 or less seconds. I don't really remember though. I think this might be the fight.
You just lost your mail. Could you have done something different? What happened to you?
We got walled off and then didn't respond accordingly.
Okay.
What? The
But
May died. It's not the team's fault.
No, but we didn't. We rotated into the corner that just put us further and further away from it actually getting some sort of help.
Ice block.
I think your main shattered. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The point I'm trying to get at is that you let them walk up on all this space for free. Why? Let's watch. You didn't make them fight for the space they took at all, right? Look, they literally just walk up pretty much for free. Like, your Kree shot like 3 times, and then they just kept walking. You weren't in a position to help your Kree fight at all. Like, he had to. He was doing the right thing, fighting like that, right? Because you want to fight them for the space. Instead, you said, okay, you can have this corner, you can have this corner. We'll fight you over here, right? But you could have made them fight for like this entire stretch of space, right?
Yeah.
And while they're fighting for that space, you can proactively ult them because there's nowhere to go. So you said, let me fight in this open space where I have no corner, instead of fighting them in this open space where they have no corner, right? So this is an issue of picking your engagements wisely. You're not making it easy for your mate to ult either, right? Or to get a wall. Because it's a lot easier to wall somebody when they're in the open space walking up than it is once they've already hit the corner. Because at that point, there's not a lot to wall, right?
Right.
So, like, this fight was lost before it began because you guys didn't pick the right place to fight. Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to say it's your mate's fault for losing their ult. I'm not going to say anything beyond just as a team, you guys need to pick and choose where you fight properly. I think that every single fight that you guys lost was not an outplay by the enemy team. It was you guys played yourself.
Poor positioning is what got us each time.
And you always have to make them fight for the space too.
Yeah, you guys are always on the back foot.
It was a lack of aggression and poor positioning.
Yep.
Like, the target calling didn't even come into effect because we lost every fight before we could get to call it anything.
It's the same issue as like in King's Row, pretty much. You let them get the space for free. You don't get the space yourself. So I would say it is important next scrim to work on it as well. And if one of you guys see the team isn't doing it, like remind like the main tank, remind tab like make space, or push up like fight for the space or something.
I think we'll more have a problem of Tab will be way out by himself.
Being like, yo, where is everybody?
Where is everybody? I got 6 in the shatter. Oh, you're 2 points behind me.
I think it's impressive if he takes that much space, actually.
But then we're all like, we're not even on a payload map. How did you do that?
Yes. It's 2 CP. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
I ran forward while they were attacking you.
I've seen a Moira do that. We were still fighting for first, and the Moira's in their spawn, like trying to kill respawns.
If it works.
No, it didn't. It was a silver game.
So I would say Tab it's definitely on you because you're leading the team because you're like the first person as Reinhardt. So you're the one that dictates the pace and the spacing and stuff.
We just need to play a lot together, because like I will take the space, but if I keep getting punished for it. Oof.
Down to jump into Kiru and try to put this into practice?
I cannot right now.
Okay.
I also could not do it right after this.
I actually,
Maybe
actually,
in like an hour or two I can.
Same. I probably
Same.
could do it in about an hour.
I actually really like the idea of Tab main tanking because I think he makes a strong
Right.
IGL as well.
For sure, dude. I just like how Tab is the main tank because we can. I think that goes on various issues as well. Like we had a main tank and they didn't really speak at all.
You didn't like the ASMR main tank we had?
Look, okay, look, Gilly was fine. The problem was like he didn't speak loud enough sometimes. Okay, like he said some things that we could really hear him. Sometimes.
Oh,
That was
you
the-
weren't at the last scrim, were you?
Which one? With the
Where in
Bloodhound?
between the rounds the guy was like, I am calling stuff.
The Blood Hungry kid? Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
I remember
was...
that one. Yeah, I played like the last 2 games.
Well,
of
he
that
never
one.
said that he was calling stuff. Like, we would ask him, he's like, oh, yeah, I can call. Yeah, that's alright.
Yeah, and like never once said anything. I was just there listening to you guys, and it's just like
I
I
just
gotta
got
put the
so
guy up
frustrated watching
to
that
200
that's the
to
only
200.
reason I asked if I could try out for main tank.
For sure, yeah.
Let's see here.
Realistically speaking, you guys should be all like flat diamond in every role you play, because
Mhm.
so like it doesn't really matter because you're already on the team if you take the mid tank spot. I don't care if you guys switch roles, as long as you try your best to be good at the new role you're at.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But I am diamond every roll. Big unfortunate. I want to be masters every roll.
Really?
All right. Is VOD finished?
Nice.
Make
All
sure
right.
you practice together with your counterpart if you can. Queue together as much as possible. Work on stuff.
You
Bring
hear
VODs
that?
every week.
You hear that, Tab?
I'm stuck with you. That's
Yeah,
all I
dude.
heard.
You're forced to do it.
Yeah, I gotta take off and take care. It's I only have it's quick to take care of. I'll be around in what time is it? Probably about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. Pichu, what are you up to?
Similar.
I'm gonna go play combat a bit. You
Oh,
have some games?
yeah, I got some games.
I remember last
I'll,
time you were trying
I'll
to
see
play.
you guys later
I,
tonight.
I got called in to
Peace.
ring this
Yeah.
time.
All right, cool. So all right, Tab. I'll at you later when I'm.
Yeah, give me like an hour, hour and a half, and I'll be down.
All right, cool. I will talk to you relatively soon then.
Here. Alright.
Have a good evening and see you.
Thanks for the 4 hours of coaching. It was very
Yeah,
enlightening.